Welcome to the Stronger Marriage Podcast with Trey and Lee. Today we're talking negativity, and is negativity killing your marriage? What we can do about it, and this is going to be fun. Here we go.
Welcome to the Stronger Marriage Podcast with Trey and Lee. On this podcast, you'll hear real topics about real life. They cover everything from married sex to raising kids to loving your spouse so much that you're willing to forgive them for occasionally being the most annoying person in the world. Trey and Lee have raised 4 boys, been married over 30 years, and somehow still really like each other. And now, live from the metropolis of Childress, Texas, a place so flat you can watch your dog run away for 3 days. Here are your hosts for the Stronger Marriage Podcast, Trey and Lee Morgan.
Did you notice that part in there about been married over 30 years and somehow still like each other?
Yes, we have learned to navigate some differences in our marriage.
Because we are very different. That is the truth.
It is. It is. This topic today kind of just reiterates that fact.
It does, and we're going to get after it, but we're going to talk about 2 things before that.
Yes, we have our big announcement to make.
We got a big announcement, and kind of 2, but really the big announcement. You should know, if you follow us on social media, you should know the big announcement. We are doing, can I say it? Is it me?
Go ahead.
Okay. In January 2022, we are going on a cruise with you guys, if you'll come go with us.
Yes.
We have thrown this out on Facebook. We're teaming up with another couple of marriage coaches,
Yes.
Wayne and Tammy, with the His Shoes, Her Shoes workshops. And we are excited about it. And it's all over our website, treyandlee.com. You can find out the dates, the details, the cost. The cost is actually really good because it's in the middle of the week. It's in January. Yes. The weather won't be brutally hot. All the foods you want to eat. We're going Royal Caribbean out of Galveston. We're going to have some marriage workshop sessions, but that's not all we're going to do. We're not going to spend all our weekend in a conference room talking marriage. We're going to have some fun and some dinners together. And Cozumel, what was the other one we're going to?
Costa Mayo, something like that. Yes.
So we're excited.
Fun stuff.
Yes, come go with us. I think right now, the price will go up the longer you wait, but you can put a $200 deposit down, which I believe is refundable from what I have read, and you can go on this cruise and it'll hold your spot before it fills up. But we've had tremendous amount of people that's jumped on here already, and we're going to take a Stronger Marriage Workshop and His Shoes, Her Shoes combined cruise and have some fun.
Yeah, that's exciting.
I'm excited about it. I'm just I'm ready to go tomorrow.
It just seems like so long away. I was thinking about it this morning. I was like, man, that's 9 months from now, but time flies.
Time flies.
It does.
It will, and it will be fun.
Yes.
So, look it up on our webpage. Also, we have been doing a lot of work on our getaway weekend. That's our big weekend we do every year. This doesn't take place at a church. This year it is going to be in Dallas. Last year it was in Lubbock. It will take place at the MCM Elegante in Dallas. It will be a Friday, Saturday event. It will be a ton of fun. This is called Getaway Weekend, so don't bring your kids, okay?
Somebody asked, is childcare included? It's like, no.
It's not getaway with your kids. But this is Getaway Weekend without your kids. We have couples already that have told us they're flying in from California. We've got a couple coming in from Minnesota. We're close to an airport. We'll have folks fly in everywhere. We're doing 100 couples. It will fill up. So if this is something you're interested in, be checking the webpage for details on registration. I think that the registration will open somewhere around 4 weeks out, probably around June 15th, but we hadn't got that figured out yet. But we do know the dates, and the dates are July
9th and 10th.
9th and 10th. Oh, you're so good, because
Yes.
I was looking it up really quick.
And, I mean, hopefully we had a lot of couples last year that went ahead and stayed, booked a room for Saturday night as well and stayed, through Sunday. So
yes. So make it a getaway weekend.
make it a
Hang
whole
out
weekend.
in Dallas.
There's
We're
a
through
lot. Yeah.
Saturday at 2.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the weekend is yours. And so stay Saturday night. The hotel is giving great discount room rates. They're generally $139, $149 a night. They're going to give everyone who calls with the Stronger Marriage Workshop group, you'll get a $89 room, which includes a free huge buffet breakfast.
Yeah, they'll do like a made to order omelets. That's always yummy.
Yes.
So yeah, good stuff.
So we're beyond excited about that. So if that's something you want to do, awesome. Always check our webpage. You can find on our webpage details on our upcoming Stronger Marriage Workshop events. You can get cruise information. You can find out how to order books. You can find where to subscribe to our podcasts, all that kind of stuff. So thank you for letting us spend 5 minutes talking about this.
Right, giving some little info there.
So
Right.
let's talk negativity.
Yes,
this came from a man, and I loved it because men don't often ask for help. He sent me an email, and he said, Trey, my wife says I am too negative, and it is killing my marriage. And instead of saying, he did not say, I think she's nuts, I'm not negative. He said, I need to figure out what I need to do to fix this. And I love that because here's a man going, if my wife thinks I'm too negative, then I need to work on some stuff. And so we're talking negativity today. Is negativity killing your relationship with your spouse? And so we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about some things that we've got a couple of Bible verses in here we're going to throw at you in a little while, and just some really good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is something that I've had to work on because, as we know, we are two very opposite, different people. Mm-hmm. And you are positive, optimistic. You're a great encourager, and I'm more negative. I just don't always look on the bright side, and I can tend to be critical and negative. And
it's a personality thing.
It's not a personality thing. Early in our marriage, just, thought we are so different. What is wrong with us? Why do we see every single thing so different? And I went to a ladies' workshop thing one weekend, and it was all about the 4 different personality types, basic personality types. Now, I'm not talking Enneagram, or I'm probably not even saying that right. I'm just now kind of learning about that, and that's like 9 different ones. And so that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about there's 4 basics. And when I really just started studying those and learning about those, it helped make so much more sense about why we are the way we are and why we are so opposite. And God made us that way. And there are 2 personality types that tend to be more positive and 2 that tend to be more negative. And so even though that's the way you're wired, that's the way God made you, you don't have to dwell on the negativity. You can learn to curb it. It can be done.
Yes. And if somebody's wanting to look these up, can you find them online?
Oh, sure. There's the name of the book. There's a book out, and it's called Personality Plus by Florence Littauer. And if you Google that, Personality Plus, Florence Littauer, we can probably put that in our notes.
Put the link in the notes.
But there's all kinds now, besides just a book. I think there's all kinds of information online. There's probably the personality test you can take online if you're interested in doing that. If you just kind of want to see where you fall, then I'm sure that there's online resources available without even having to buy the book. But the book is excellent, and if you're a reader and you like those kinds of things, I would say read it. She uses a lot of humor, and it's an entertaining read as well.
It opened your eyes to it helped us a lot because it helped us quit trying to fix each other.
It helped me a ton. And just real quickly, just to tell you what the 4 basic types are, there is one called the sanguine, and this is just the person that wants to have fun no matter what. We just want to have fun. This is Trey. There is and of course that's one that's going to be more positive. Choleric or choleric, I'm not sure how to say it, but this is the high energy person, the take charge person. This personality type also tends to be more positive. And then there is the melancholy. This is your rule follower, perfectionist person. that tends to be more negative, and this is me.
Yep.
And total opposites that we are.
Because I'm not a perfectionist, nor am I a very good rule follower.
Then there's also, the last one is the phlegmatic. This is a low energy person, laid back person, and tends to be a little more negative. Now you can have combinations of all of these personality types, but yeah. So
the fact that
yes.
your personality is a little bit more on the perfectionist side, and perfectionists can tend to be a little bit more negative, and my personality is a little bit more on the let's have fun, don't bring me down, don't nag me type stuff. And so we've learned to adjust that, but you have changed amazingly in your personality and your communication and the way that you encourage me over the past 30-something years, because you have worked hard to get out of that constantly seeing everything that you don't like.
Yes.
And that hadn't been easy for you, I know.
No. And a lot of that negativity, I think, for people, it comes from a place of selfishness. It really does. I mean, it's just because all you're thinking about is your needs and what's going on in your world. And you have to kind of think about, well, he's going through the same thing and he's not bringing everybody around him down. So,
and can I throw something out?
Yes.
This is a good point right here. If you are taking negative things that are hard on your marriage and just simply saying, but that's my personality, that's who I am, don't ask me to change that, then your marriage is always going to be struggling, because you have to, doesn't matter what your personality is, if you struggle with anger or negativity or a tone, you just go down the list of whatever it is. If you've got something that is bringing your marriage down, that is part of your personality, you're going to have to work on fixing that. And simply going, hey, you're just going to have to accept me for who I am, is kind of a lame way of going, I don't want to work on that or make myself better.
That's a cop out. Because, and that's one of the things that, when I did that study, there are, every personality type has things that they're good at. I can't find my words that I'm looking for. They're good at, and then there's personality flaws. And so, the negativity is a flaw in this personality, and it's something that you have to work on. So when you take those tests, it kind of points out, here's your strengths and here's your weaknesses. And so those weaknesses are the things that you need to identify and say, okay, I'm gonna go to work on those and not bring people down with my weaknesses.
Yeah. And you look at my personality, which was the sanguine, which you talked about, and you go, well, boy, that'd be the perfect personality, because they're always upbeat, they want to have fun, they're not negative, they're a cheerleader, and yet that also has some big negatives that I have to work on. The sanguine personality is not a very detailed person. They're unorganized. They don't do well with communicating details and stuff. These are all areas that I've had to work on, without just going, well, that's just who I am. And even though I'm still a little bit on the sloppy side, not a whole lot, I have improved amazingly in our 31 years of marriage, I would think.
Yes.
Okay, I wasn't sure what you were going to say there. Woo! I thought, she says, really?
No. So we've both, embraced our strengths and have tried to work on our weaknesses.
That's right. And you may not think you're negative. You may not think you're struggling with that. But if your spouse is saying to you, hey, you are always so negative or so critical, or if your spouse says all the time, hey, you've got a tone, why are you talking to me with this tone? You may not feel that way, but you're going to have to work on that. Because if your spouse feels that way, you may not hear yourself speaking with a tone. But if your spouse feels that way, you're going to have to figure out, how can I come across better? Instead of saying, pick your shoes up out of the floor, you idiot, you may have to come across going, hey, darling, would you do me a favor? And you see those shoes over there? Can you grab those and put them up for me? You know, something, just a little bit more spin on, how to come across as...
Tone is always very important. The way you say things. The way you say things is just as important as what you say.
That's exactly
actually.
Right. There is a concept that Dr. Gary Chapman, Dr. Willard Harley, you just go down the list. All those guys talk about the love bank concept, and that everybody has a love bank in their heart or a love tank. Basically, it's like an account, a love account. And your spouse puts in deposits, and when they do things that frustrate you, take out withdrawals. Deposits are things like when you say kind things, when you speak their love language, when you do things that make them feel good, you make a deposit. And you want to keep your spouse's love bank full. I want my wife's love banks full. And I also don't want to take out withdrawals, and you take withdrawals out by being negative or critical or dishonest or whatever it is. And so it's important that you're putting more in than you're taking out. And I just totally went blank on Gottman. Gottman is the guy that does all the studies on marriage, has come out recently with a study that says if in your marriage you will give 5 times more praise than you do to criticism, so 5 compliments to every time you're critical, that the divorce rate drops in your marriage to 12%. And that's absolutely incredible. I can live with a 12% divorce rate, but that's going to require you to give 5 times more praise than you do criticism.
Yeah, I saw this. Appreciate more than you evaluate.
That's good. And that's something in marriages we tend to kind of evaluate instead of appreciate. And if you're dating, if you're listening to this right now and you're dating someone, you swap that around. This is the time to evaluate, not just to blindly appreciate.
Right.
You figure out, is this person somebody I could live with?
I live with
but
this person?
Once you're living with them, you're married to them, spend more time appreciating than you do evaluating.
Yes, because that constant negativity can really drain that love bank or that love tank.
Another Gottman quote that's very good is that criticism is one of the greatest predictors of divorce there is. If you're a marriage that's got a lot of criticism, the divorce rate is much higher in your marriage. And so that's how hard criticism is on your marriage.
That is a sobering thought.
It is.
So let's talk about, we've talked about the negatives. Let's talk about how, if you are a negative person, tend to be a little more negative, or your spouse says you are, don't get offensive about that. Own it, because you probably are.
Don't be negative about it.
Don't be negative about it. But we're going to tell you some ways that hopefully can help you change and help you work on that.
Yes. Number 1, don't say everything you think.
Yeah, just close your mouth sometimes.
Just close your mouth sometimes.
I have learned that the hard way over lots of years. I just really don't have to say everything I'm thinking.
You say that all the time?
I can keep some things to myself. I really can.
Yes. There is a Bible verse in Philippians 2, verse 14. I can quote this verse because my mama made me memorize it when I was a kid.
As a kid.
She was the meanest mother in the world.
She got tired of hearing you gripe about stuff.
Philippians chapter 2, verse 14 says, do things without complaining and griping.
Yes.
That's one translation. Do everything without complaining and arguing.
Yes.
And man, boy, when she first told me that verse was in the Bible, I said, it is not. You just made that up. And she made me look that up, and she made me memorize it. And I have known that verse since I was a kid. Do everything without complaining and griping.
Don't complain. It's in the Bible,
and
straight up.
I think I was griping about taking out. She told me I had to take out the trash, and I griped all the way out and all the way back. And she threw that verse at me, and I said, "That is not in the Bible. You making that up?" And shouldn't have said that. Yeah. So close your mouth. Don't say everything you think. What's another thing we can do? Focus
on positives, not negatives. And you have to really be intentional at this, I think. You really do. If you tend towards the negative, then you have to just retrain your brain, honestly.
You do. And, have you noticed that newlyweds are really good at this? They tend to newlyweds tend to overlook the things their new spouse does. It gets on their nerves, and they really focus on, he's just awesome, or she does this. And the longer we're married, we kind of reverse that around, and the next thing you know, it's like we overlook the positive our spouse does, and we just want to focus on the fact that this is driving me nuts, And so, focus on the positives and not the negatives. Be intentional with that.
Found just a great quote that goes along with this, and it says, "Every day we have a choice. How you see the world determines the world you see. Look for the good and see the possibilities. And so I wish I could show you the picture that was with this, but just imagine a couple of people sitting on a bus. One's on the left and one's on the right. And the person over on the left is looking out their window, and all they can see is just this rocky, jagged mountainside, just, right up next to the window. That just sheer mountainside, just goes straight up, just nothing but just sharp rocks.
Nothing to look at.
Nothing to look at. And the person over on the right is looking out their window at just this beautiful green valley, and the sun is coming up, just a beautiful sunrise. And I mean, man, just spectacular beauty. And so it's just like, you got a choice. You can keep looking out your window on the right, or you can turn your head and look over at the left and see the beauty and see the possibilities. So choose. Every day you have a choice.
Yeah, one of the verses that kind of stood out to us is, again, in Philippians, that says, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think. Or one translation says, focus on these things. Notice it doesn't say whatever is negative, whatever you don't like. No, it says whatever is good and right and pure and lovely. That's what you need to be focusing on. That's good stuff right there.
Yeah. Just that choice. Make that choice every day. Happiness is a choice. It's not a result. Nothing will make you happy until you choose to be happy. No person will make you happy until you decide to be happy. Your happiness will not come to you. It can only come from you.
That's it.
You have to decide you're going to be happy.
It's not your spouse's job to make you happy.
That's right.
Or to complete you. That is your job.
Yes. You can be going through really horrible circumstances, whatever, and still choose to be happy. You have to find the good in every situation.
So let me speak for a moment to those spouses who feel like they're married to someone that's a bit negative or critical. So if you're the spouse that's a little bit more sanguine like me, let me speak to you for a second, and then we'll throw out one more point that you can do to help. If you feel like your spouse is negative, praise them when you catch them being positive. Reinforce the fact that, hey, thank you for complimenting me. That made me feel good. Thank you for saying that in a sweet way. Don't take negative words from them personally, meaning that may be their personality and they're working on this. Be patient with them. They're not trying to just pick you apart. That is kind of who they are. And so don't just think everything they say is them being negative. Mm-hmm. Don't be hypersensitive to a negative spouse. And so if your spouse says something, you don't have to every time think, well, they're just being negative. Try to give them a little grace at the fact that they're trying to work on things. And so that's a really good thing to try and do.
Yes. So both parties need to work on this.
Yep.
Equal. I mean, the negative person hopefully is working hard to retrain their brain to make that choice every day to see the positives. And then the spouse that is more positive, that is getting the negative or the criticism, needs to, realize, hey, I'm just being a little too sensitive. And I need to realize that is kind of their personality. Even though they are hopefully working on it.
Yeah.
So
what's one more thing that we could do that's good for, actually it'd be good for both, but specifically the maybe the spouse that struggles with negativity?
Yeah. This is excellent for everybody to do. Just seems like I've been seeing it a lot lately, that people are doing gratitude journals. Like literally when they wake up first thing in the morning, they've got a journal next to their bedside, and they're grabbing that journal and they're writing down 3 things that they're grateful for that day. And it may be, I'm grateful for my warm covers. I'm grateful for coffee that you may smell, making in the other room. I'm grateful for warm pajamas. I don't know. I mean, every day
I'm thankful that if you reached over and flicked on the light, you can see you live in a country that has electricity.
Grateful for electricity.
Oh my goodness.
You're grateful for running water. I mean, when you start picking out just the tiniest little minute details that you're grateful for, you can fill up a journal. I mean, you'll be amazed at how much things you can write down in a journal if you do that every day. I mean, just 3 things a day. And you just think how many things are you grateful for every day? So that's a small thing you can do, a small way you can start your day just to start you thinking in a positive direction.
It's true.
So if you wake up and you're already thinking, positively, that kind of just sends you off in that direction for the day. So just one more thing to throw out there to close with this. Are you ready to close?
Yeah, sounds
Okay.
great. We're about out of time.
If the only time you're happy is when everything goes your way, you're in for a lifetime of misery. You really are. And you'll pass that misery on to everybody around you. And that's not fun. Nobody wants to be around somebody that's negative all the time.
I don't. I avoid negative people.
So learn the word flexible and live it every day. I mean, that's kind of the secret to this is be flexible because things are not always going to go your way. And then throw out Philippians 4:11. Let's just read that as we finish. You want me to?
Yep, I got it right there for you.
Okay. Let's see. I'm not saying this because I'm in need, for I have learned to be content whatever the circumstances. That's Paul. Was he literally in prison when he wrote this?
He's in prison when he wrote this.
I mean, the guy's in prison, and he's like saying, I've learned to be content no matter what my circumstances are. So talk about a choice. Paul made a choice to be happy, to be content.
So he gets up in the morning and writes in his grateful journal,
Right.
Hey, I'm having a great day. Despite being in chains and in
Exactly.
prison, I would start out the day going, woe is me, and he's not.
Yes, that's exactly right.
That's pretty incredible.
That is incredible. So we hope that something we've said today will help you, if you do tend to be a little more negative, to decide, hey, I really don't want to be like this. I really want to be more positive and encouraging to everybody around me. I don't want to drag everybody down that's around me. So work on that. You can do it. I was able to do it. I'm still working on it. It's a work in progress every
Always.
day.
Every day.
Every day.
Yep, it is.
So-
You got this. And thank you for listening. We're honored. If you're listening to this on our webpage, you can subscribe through either iTunes or Google or Spotify, and it'll just automatically tell you when we have a new podcast each week. But if you get a chance, subscribe, and if you want to leave us a review, that'd be awesome. We appreciate how good you folks are. We're honored that you take time. You took 27 minutes. It's going to be 28 by the time we're done of your time to listen to us today, and we're thankful for that. We pray that this
Yes.
has blessed your marriage. Anything else? Have a great day. Swing by TreyandLee.com and check out the information on the cruise and the getaway weekend. All
Yes,
right?
we hope you can do one of those.
Sounds good. See y'all.